Yeah, Revolution 63 is the year. Taxing honest people are all our tea and sugar. Okay, I'm restarting. Yeah, Revolution 63 is the year. The proclamation of 1763 was the start of a change in British policy that led to the Revolution. Taxing honest people all our tea and sugar. The Sugar Act was the first tax to raise money for the crown, and the Townshend Act raised import duties on tea and other goods, and these laws led to resistance among the colonists. Steady dripping drops, but never seeing nothing. Even then, you won't see it coming. The laws passed by the British are analogous to Chinese water torture, in which small drops of water dropping constantly over time cause a victim to go crazy, just as the colonists were outraged by many minor laws. I'd like to give out a shout out to Thomas Paine with the game plan, and shout out Washington with the war plans. Thomas Paine wrote Common Sense, which helped the colonists believe in Republican ideals and independence. We can keep the rich tea or we can dump man's. Faces coated, boat loaded. Okay, let's stop and pour this. Time to go, rock, dock, and throw expensive barrels. In protest of the Townshend Acts, some colonists dressed up as Mohawk Indians and poured British tea into the Boston harbor. Muskets loaded, snowballs thrown, Boston massacring. A clash erupted when a crowd taunted British soldiers, and at the trial after the event, the soldiers received very little punishment, and both sides took advantage of this incident to create propaganda. You think we payin' for dim stamps? Yo, that ain't what we doin'. Taxin' all and over, corded up with many soldiers. Times they even tax the paper, then it's time to notice. Other acts that enraged the colonists were the Quartering Act, which forced the colonists to provide housing and food for British soldiers, and the Stamp Act, which taxed paper items and caused the colonists to unify and protest. The shots we heard at Lexington Concord was the first battle of the Revolution, and where the British sought to capture rebel leaders, tried to implore or spurned its war. The colonists drafted the Olive Branch petition in an attempt to stop the war, but it was rejected by the king. It drips, it drops, it drips, it drops. We praised the king, then broke the law. We claimed our rights, then claimed some more. Tax pains were sore, break chains mid-war. All of these events caused a paradigm shift in the colonists, who finally began to question if they were actually British. They began to realize that they valued the rights that they took for granted during salutary neglect.
Imposed a tax, so show respect. Ignore the Whigs, you're my subject. The king believed that because he had authority over the colonists, his laws were reasonable. The Whigs were a political party in Britain that opposed the monarchy and favored the American side. The French, the Dutch, the Russians, and Spain stretched thin, tensions withdrawn in pain. The French and Dutch and Spanish allied with the Americans against the British, and the Russians interfered with British trade through armed neutrality. These foreign pressures weakened Britain's ability to continue the war. Just stay in line, you're not confined, the old design will do just fine. It's fine, don't whine, a line consign. The crown still viewed the colonists as normal British subjects and treated them as such. However, the colonists were transitioning from a deference-based society. Don't join, you'll die, you snakes your mind, so please believe, just pay for teas, the costs of breeze you must appease. The famous Join or Die cartoon was created by Benjamin Franklin to support the Albany Plan, which encouraged unity among the colonies. Britain will make you weak at breeds, rebels you ravel your loss. The laws instituted by the British were not unreasonable, and the colonists actually had more freedoms than people on mainland England. The British won the Battle of Bunker Hill, which actually took place on Breed's Hill. He blame, I blame, now what's the game? Due to their differences, each side saw the other's actions as unreasonable. These opposing viewpoints slowly led to the revolution. My gain, my grants, my tax causing pain, just hear my voice, there's no debate. You know we're free, no tax on the state. The mercantilist system dictated that the only function of the colonies was to serve the empire. Another act passed by the British was the Quebec Act, which outraged colonists because it gave their land grants to the French Canadians.